You're watching the Rejected Gamers podcast.
Hello, viewers, and someday potentially listeners. We are the Rejected Gamers and Gaz the VR guy. I'm Sam. And that's Ree.
I'm Ree.
Great start, gents. And again, Gaz the VR guy as well, who is over
super
that way,
awkward.
actually. So, Ree's below me, as it will look.
You're over
Ree's
there.
below me. On
No,
my recording, you're
it's down
below,
that way.
so I'm above you.
Yeah,
And
down that way.
Gaz is over that way. So, yeah. But, yeah, so obviously people who are watching this, they can see that we're all in our own little locations because, you know, self-isolation and social distancing. Me and Rhea are still in Wales, but Gaz, you're in England anyway.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, this is your first video where all three of us are in it.
It is, yeah. It's the first time we've done any joint content.
I mean, to be fair, considering you live in England, that kind of makes it difficult in terms of doing content. But in terms of what's going on, obviously we're doing the podcast. It made sense to, because Ree can't come around to mine to record, trying to get this done. And it's like, well, we may as well get you in it as well.
Through the magic and wizardry of the internet,
Yeah.
we've managed to conjure up this experience, this magical experience.
How long do you think before this is to how long do you think before we regret our decision of getting Gaz in on this one?
That'll be fun. We got
The regret hasn't set in already.
The regret was there before we even started recording. And we all got a drink as well, so cheers to all of us and cheers to our viewers as well. We'll start off by just saying, obviously in this trying time, we hope you're staying home and we hope you're staying safe. Wash your hands. And your private parts, wash those as well, because you should always keep them clean.
It's always good advice to wash your hands anyway.
I know, I mean, that's the one thing about this, is like,
thanks.
I'm like, didn't people wash their hands anyway? But we'll not get into that. We're not here to talk about that stuff. We're here to talk about video games and all that crap. So shall we talk about some video games? Ree, you brought up a good topic the other day, and that's about, obviously, we're all stuck in, not going anywhere. What games are we playing right now? So, Ree, if your topic, what have you been playing in isolation?
I haven't.
You
I've
haven't
been playing.
You've been playing with yourself, and that's it. That's why there's so little toilet roll in the world.
Good chat, Ree.
I've been playing Skyrim to my misfortune.
Skyrim, isn't that game like 20 years old?
Yeah.
It feels like it's been out for that long. What are you playing it on? What are you playing it on? Because it's obviously available on like fucking toothbrushes and shit these days, isn't it?
Everything. Yeah. Playing on for
PS4. Good boy.
I think I can get it for my Casio watch.
How are you getting on with it?
I'm almost finished. I'm looking forward to finishing it because I want to stop playing it. But,
How many hours you put into it now? This time around?
I think maybe like 24 so far, something like that.
24 hours, and I'm guessing you're just mainly doing the story missions, is it then? If you
Just
almost
blasted
finished.
through the story. I can't wait to get it off it. I'm just doing my head. But, yeah.
You're not trying to do it to completion then.
No, absolutely not. Doesn't that take like 200 hours? I think. Fuck that. Like, oh, are we allowed to swear?
Oh
Yeah, why not?
Swearing's fine.
I'm not sure I've ever done anything to completion. I got really close
100%
on
completion.
Yeah.
I've done. Yeah. No, I've done Spyro. That's it.
I might have done an indie game that
Spyro.
would have took me about 5 hours. I've platinumed
I think I did it.
games, but platinuming aren't always like completing 100%. So
Yeah, I've done a racing game. On the Xbox.
a racing.
Like the original, the Xbox 360. I can't remember which one it was. Before the days of Project Cars.
He's talking about
that.
Xbox.
Yeah, that's it. It's taken me 3 minutes to 3 minutes to bring up Xbox. Xbox.
No.
It is. Yeah. There's only a few consoles out there, so you know.
So
There's only so many consoles.
I reckon, Ree,
yeah.
you should play Skyrim to completion.
Yeah.
I'm not playing it for any longer than I have to, honestly.
Have you not got the DLC, or are you safe with not having to do the DLC, I guess?
What do you think, Sam?
I'm guessing no. I'm guessing you got the bog standard basic version. I've never
There's
played.
mods and all sorts, right?
I've
Right?
never played Skyrim. I've got VR Skyrim, but I've not played it yet.
Is is there mods on the PlayStation for it?
There is, but
That's PC thing.
there is. You can add mods on the PS4, but I haven't really delved because again, I want to get off it. Do not want to be on it longer.
I'm not entirely sure you're committed to this game.
I
really
don't think he is either. Brilliant.
What's
I don't know
next up then, Ray?
What's next up? That's a good
Yeah.
question. Maybe Borderlands, actually. I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, good
Well,
shout.
I've been poking at you to get on Borderlands, haven't I?
On Doom as well. I think Doom's. I'm going to blast that a day.
I'll say, if I could suggest, maybe do Doom first, because you can give me a bit more time to finish up, hopefully, the game I'm playing at the moment.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
I'm free after that, we can do some Borderlands.
Well,
So obviously,
Doom would just be a long style anyway. So yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's a bit of a segue into what I'm playing at the moment, which is another fantasy RPG. That's a lot better than probably the one that you're playing, Ree. And that's Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Witcher 3. I thought you were going to. I thought you were going to bring up Final Fantasy then. I thought you were going to bring it up.
You were the one who brought it up, I can't find. No, I'll be playing that in 2 weeks' time, thank you very much. But, no, I've been playing The Witcher 3 on the Switch, so as I like to call it, the Switcher. It's actually really good. Gaz, if you've never played it, I would recommend it, because while it's got a fantasy RPG like Skyrim, its storytelling quest lines reminds me more of something like Mass Effect.
Okay.
So
I've never actually played any of the Witchers, no. I never really knew what they were until Netflix did their Witcher series, which was quite cool.
That's kind of what got me interested in playing the third one, and
Yeah.
I thought getting it on the Switch, I can play it a bit portable and stuff like that. It's pretty handy. At first, I had a few issues, being like, "Oh, it's not running so well. Performance seems a bit meh. I probably should have got it on PS4 because it's cheaper." But I've got used to it. It's actually pretty good, and it's actually really impressive how much game there is on that fucking tiny little cartridge. It's ridiculous. And I've talked to Ree in the past about how in certain games I very rarely do side quests and missions.
Yeah.
But I'm actually doing a lot more on The Witcher 3. I'm about 60, 70 hours into it, and I've still got about just under half of the main story to do. So it's very easy to get sidetracked. I'll do one side mission, which then ends up doing another side mission, which then ends up leading to another side mission. And it's like, literally yesterday, I was like, you know what? I want to try and maybe get through the story now. And about 5 hours later, I was still doing side missions. It's really good. It's got some gameplay. There's a few niggles. The combat could be better. But I personally still think it's probably better than something like Skyrim.
Yeah.
I think so.
Apart from the few niggles, they do the way they do the storytelling and stuff like that is actually really good. I can see why everyone praised it.
I like a good story-driven game. If I'm honest.
It's actually a lot more engrossing, and the side missions compared to usual. Say a normal RPG, you'll go do a side mission. Someone's like, you'll say to someone, "I'm like, I need this sword of truth," and they'll be like, "Oh, okay. I've lost my duck. Can you go and fetch my duck, and then I can tell you where the sword is?" And that'll be in a normal game.
Yeah.
But in Witcher, it'll be like, "I lost this sword of truth that used to belong to this person who went on this mission," and the person's like, "I can tell you where it is if you can get my duck. Why do you need your duck?" "Oh, well, because my duck is like my wife's," and it's like there's loads of backstory. It's the same kind of quest you get in normal RPG, but they fluff it out with all this really good storytelling, so it's really easy to get invested in them. Like fluffing, you love fluffing, don't you?
A good bit.
So, but I've got like about 2 weeks to try and finish off the best I can, because obviously, as Gaz mentioned, Final Fantasy 7.
Oh yeah,
And that would be my next
finish that
game,
off.
with maybe some Borderlands 3
Fantastic.
dashed in there. So, Gaz, what have you been playing at the moment? Although saying that, it's probably anyone who's watching this channel may have seen what you're playing at the moment anyway.
Yeah, so I've kind of got 3 things on the go at the minute, 3 games, and like Reed, Far Cry. Far Cry. I've been just trying to Far Cry 5. I've been playing it. I've been playing it since it came out, pretty much. I just need to complete it.
Have you been playing like an hour a month or something? If you're still playing it.
Yeah, pretty much. So I kind of I signed up for the beta of the xCloud streaming service, and I can stream it from my Xbox. So when I've been working away, I've been trying to play it like that, with varying degrees of success, depending on the hotel Wi-Fi. But I just need to get through that now.
So
yeah,
it's a game
it needs.
You basically play while you're away, so when it's that game that you've been doing.
Yeah,
Explains why you've been taking so long to play it, I guess.
Yeah, like 2 years. I don't know how long it's been out, but yeah.
It is about 2 years.
Yeah, probably. It definitely needs to be over. But besides that, I've been picking up Call of Duty.
Warzone, isn't it? The new one.
Yeah, Warzone. Yeah, Warzone. It's good to play with. It's good to play with friends.
What are you playing on? Are you playing on Xbox with that?
Yeah, I've got an Xbox. So
I only say that because obviously it's cross-play, but I don't think it's cross-play between Xbox and PlayStation. I think it's console. Is it?
Yeah, it's fully cross-play. So it's cross-play with PlayStation and PC, all 3 of them. So, and you can see when you join like your what's the word I'm looking for?
Squad.
Oh my god. I don't know. Well, no, like the lobby. There we go.
Oh,
lobby. Lobby, friends. Yeah, when you join the lobby, you've got the icons next to people's names, next to people's gamer tags. You can tell whether they're on PlayStation or PC. Mouse and keyboard. You just want to quit if you come across it, because that's just click. People just click on you, and you're dead. Headshot, click. Oh, it's not even playing. Click, dead. That's been good, and of course, whatever else is you may have seen the stream this week, Half-Life Alyx.
And if you've not seen the stream, watch it, you idiots.
Yeah,
it's the time to plug your streams, Gaz.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Go and watch Half-Life Alyx stream. I think I'm going to do another stream. I've picked up the story and I'm really getting into it now. So I'll probably do another stream coming soon. Yeah, it's great. I haven't seen I've seen one bad review for it, Metro, but they're rubbish.
We're not talking about. Like I said to you the other day, Metro just don't seem to have any idea about films or games or like entertainment. I've seen a review for like a film where they were trashing the film and then like really trashing it, and then gave it like a 9 out of 10.
Same.
And I'm like, the fuck it.
Sounds about right.
Or it was something like they were really praising something for being really good, and then they gave it like a 3. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? It's worse than IGN, man. Worse than IGN, and that's saying something.
Yes, they trashed. They trashed Half-Life Alyx, but they gave it 8 out of 10. And it's the only. I haven't seen a bad review for it yet. It's some people have said that it doesn't really break any new ground in terms of VR, and I suppose it doesn't do anything that there isn't another game that has done before, like the physics mechanics. Boneworks has done it before, but it brings
They do it well though, right?
Oh, it's absolutely spot on, and they've on all of these like single one things that there might be one game that does something well in VR, like maybe it's the physics or the storytelling or the visuals or whatever it is. They've brought it all together in one game, and it gels together really, really well. And for me, it definitely is the first. Like I said, I enjoy a good story-based game that takes you on a journey, and this really does. And it's the first the first proper AAA VR title. But as far as I'm concerned, definitely. It's a shame a lot of people won't get to play it. I know there's some hacks going about at the minute where people are trying to get it work on a flat screen, but I think you will lose I think you'll lose some of it. Yeah, you'll lose that. It won't translate quite so well to a screen, but we'll see.
Yeah, they've done like a.
Are you done? Sorry.
Yeah. Wow.
That's rude.
That's so rude.
So rude.
So rude.
But,
Typical
yeah,
guys
so it
just keep on
sounds
going.
like they've done it sounds like they've
No.
done a simple Half-Life game, but solidly, like just done it properly and like
I
like
mean,
VR. Like a VR.
It's
Yeah,
Valve, isn't it? When Valve actually remember how to make games, they make them quite well. That's why they got such a. That's why people give a shit about Valve. They make good games. They just very rarely make them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 13 years, I think, since the last Half-Life game.
Yeah.
I looked the other day. Yeah, it was about 13.
Yeah. Have you You can play. So recently, it was a couple of weeks ago.
For free, wasn't it?
A game came out on Steam called Black Mesa.
Oh, I've got that.
Essentially.
Yeah, I've got it.
Have you got it?
Yeah, I got it in a Humble bundle ages ago when it was still incomplete. But I hadn't played it because I was like, it'll be complete someday. So I've re-downloaded it onto my PC, and eventually I might get around to it. But no, I've wanted to play it for a while because it's basically
Might be a future Let's Play that or something.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'll not say because I might be doing a solo Let's Play on the channel starting next week. But I'll not say what it is. I think you guys both know what it is, but I won't say what it is on this. So that's a game actually I'm going to be playing soon. I might be having 3 going on a row. It's probably not going to be that much of a surprise to people who watch this and know what we've done before, and it's probably easy enough to figure out what it's going to be, especially if it's a new game coming out very soon. But I'll leave it at that. Anyways, what I want to move on to is, after a bit of positive talk, well, let's bring it down a little bit, and let's talk about the situation in the world right now. Obviously, things are all a bit crazy, and how it's going to probably affect gaming. There hasn't been any bad negative news coming out or things of people saying it's affecting them yet. The only thing I've seen is Square talking about Final Fantasy VII physical releases might be delayed. The game's coming out digitally. Some orders are going to get them on the release date, some may not. That's all I've heard clarified of this being affected. Going forwards, I think it's safe to say that other stuff will be. Games will probably get delayed. Consoles are due to come out this year. Are they going to be made? We generally know where they usually get made. I don't know if they're going to be made now. Will they get delayed? What do you guys think on that?
Don't know, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I suppose we don't really know the full impact of COVID-19 at the minute, but
I told you not to say the C word.
The wrong C word. I thought it was cancer.
Same.
No, it's chloroform.
Chloroform. Yeah, but I bet they're both really going to want to bring their consoles out, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're going to want them out.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we don't really know what's going on, but I bet the studios don't know just the same. Like they can't say.
I mean, I'm sure
they're hoping. Obviously, they're hoping they can bring everything out on time and on schedule, but they don't know, do they?
I mean,
they don't know what's going to happen.
It's weird because I wouldn't be surprised that. Obviously, I feel that it's a situation where indie games might thrive, and hear me out on this. Indie games are usually very small teams and developers. People might even be working. Something like Undertale by Toby Fox, he probably made that game on his own. Well, he made it mainly on his own, at home. Indie games, people are probably not getting affected by it because they probably work from home anyway. Big AAA studios obviously have studios with hundreds of people. They're not going to be able to. I'm sure they'll have some people be able to work from home, but not everyone's going to have those computers to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they won't have access to all that studio stuff.
This could be a time when some indie games actually kind of thrive a little bit more, where they'll not get delayed. Those will be the only games coming out, which, to be fair, during summer, that's usually the situation anyway. Indie games come out in summer, nothing else does. But I don't know, I think there's been mention that games coming out soon, things like Resident Evil, Final Fantasy VII, Last of Us, I think have all been confirmed. They're not getting affected, I don't think. But maybe things... Apparently...
maybe the big titles at the end of the year, the annual releases, things like FIFA, NFL, COD, and things like that, they might get affected.
That's true.
Yeah,
With any luck, COD won't get released.
I doubt that. They'll fucking get it out some way or another, man.
they will.
Guaranteed. Apparently, Cyberpunk. Ooh, pardon me. Apparently, CD Projekt Red, I think it's pronounced. They says they're still actually on top of Cyberpunk, even though that's due September.
Oh, really?
Apparently, they're on top. I mean, technically, it was supposed to be out next month anyway, but
Looks like a cool game.
Yeah. Obviously, same people who played Witcher 3, so after finally playing that company's one of their games, I'm very curious to see how this goes. But yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll find out, get some kind of things, confirmations or word from studios. They seem to be all keeping quiet, but it's probably the case of they don't know what's happening, so they're not going to say anything until they know where they're standing. They're probably not.
Exactly. I think the game's coming out, this side of the earlier on in the year. So the first quarter or ever, they would have been finished, a month or two ago, like months ago, kind of thing. They're in their finishing stages. I think. Well, I think probably the most difficult thing is just getting it out, just sending it out,
copies and stuff like that. Yeah, that's true. I think if anything, that these releases coming up are gonna get out, they might miss a bit of the final bit of polish and crunch, which let's not even talk about.
Yeah.
Crunch is a bad thing, and they might have to patch the game a little bit later than usual. But I could see them at least try and get the game out in a working thing.
80 gig download.
I mean, we're just gonna have to deal with games being a bit like Assassin's Creed for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Do you reckon there'll be like a massive surge of like patches? Just they would rather get the game out and just do whatever and then just patch it as they go along. I know that like harms games in the past, but
I wouldn't be surprised.
It'll depend by developer. You'll have a couple of developers that have done that in the past and released like absolutely terrible games.
EA will definitely fucking do it because they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they release. What's the joke? They release the same game every year in terms of FIFA. That's all they'll do. They'll be like, "Oh, we can't work on the new FIFA this year. Well, let's just re-release last year's one with a different box." Different box art. I mean, that's what they do anyway, isn't it?
Literally, just score out 2019 and write 2020 on it.
That's what they do. Also, 2020 was last year's one, Gaz. It would be 21 this year. Yeah, they're a year in advance kind of thing, aren't they?
That's how much I know about kickball.
Play FIFA. I think that's what they do.
I love kickball. I don't know how I got that wrong.
Kickball. Isn't kickball the one where they run around with the egg-shaped one, and they wear the helmets?
What?
Oh no, that's US kickball. US kickball.
Yeah,
that isn't it?
Yeah.
Red team is blue.
What's the British kickball? You've got US kickball and then British kickball. What's the British kickball?
British kickball is done with like cricket bats.
Oh, right,
what's cricket, you asked?
Aren't they just really big grasshoppers?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so lost now.
No idea. Guys, welcome to the podcast. We sometimes get sidetracked on these. That's why we call it a bit of a rambling.
Down the rabbit hole.
We're
Especially
getting
these
days. Right. So let's move on to another topic, one that I've wanted to talk about. So, something I thought would be fun to talk about is, obviously we play games because we like to, but also they make an impact on us, right? Your favourite games, you'll play it and you'll be like, wow, that game was amazing. One thing I find, while that's great, if you ever replay that game, you can enjoy it, but you never have that initial, wow, this game. So I thought, why don't we talk about games that we would love to just forget about, like forget the gameplay, forget the first time playing it, forget the story and experience, forgetting about it, to just kind of be able to then go back and play it for the first time again, almost. I
think Rhea'd like to forget about Skyrim.
Yeah, but will he want to play it again, though?
I'd like to to go. I'd like to go back when it was first released and play it then, because I just don't think it's really. I mean, the story's really good, but yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of just talking to someone, being told to go somewhere, going there, talking to someone, going back.
That just sounds like Death Stranding with swords.
Yeah, basically.
Don't you also have a weight limit in Skyrim for carrying stuff as well? Is it not the same game?
That's such a fucked system. It's so stupid. Like, I have to after every mission, I have to just drop everything just because fucks me off.
Can you go back and collect the stuff you've dropped, or not?
Well, this is Skyrim we're talking about now, so nothing works.
Yeah, you can stick buckets on people's heads to steal things, can't you?
Yeah. I think I got given a room and I could put stuff in my chests and stuff and store it there, and all my loot, all my juicy goods, I logged on the other day, it's all gone. Just fucking glitched out.
It's probably fell through the floor, isn't it, or something?
Yeah.
It's all sitting underneath the map.
Shit like that happens all the time.
I did actually have that happen on The Witcher 3 the other day. I was supposed to do a horse race, and the start of the horse race kind of happened, glitched out. The screen went black. It had the countdown for the start of the horse race, and then all of a sudden I was underwater in this big, just open ocean, just empty. And I was like, what the I was trying to swim up, and I was like, there was no surface to get to, so I was running out of breath going, what the fuck's happened? That's the one game breaking glitch I've had in that, and I was just like, oh my god. But we're getting sidetracked again. Gaz, if you lead us off, I'm pointing that way, no, that way, so Gaz, if you lead us off.
I reckon there's a couple. Final Fantasy would be great, Final Fantasy 7.
He's stealing all my answers.
Yeah, but, I mean that's not going to be my answer though. My proper answer, I think, what beats Final Fantasy for wanting to replay it,
and not know anything about it.
Yeah, playing it for the first time would be. It's 3 games. It would be the Mass Effect trilogy, 1, 2, and 3, the first ones.
Definitely not Andromeda.
No,
just forget Andromeda.
It didn't exist.
I've not even bought it. I'm like you. I'm a big fan of Mass Effect, and I've just forgot Andromeda exists.
Yeah. I think the first time I did it as well. 1 is janky. One is a little bit janky, but it was still really cool for me.
The Mako car, the fucking Mako car.
Yeah, but then 2 got really great. So yeah, definitely Mass Effect. It's just remember the wonder. I played all of them in a row, so I hadn't heard about them 1 and 2 when they first came out, and then I heard that 3 was coming out, and a friend said, "Oh yeah, you should really play these." So I went down to CEX. Or the equivalent in Portugal, where I lived in Portugal at the time, and bought 1 and 2. So I played 1 and 2 back to back, and I really just hammered through 1 just to get through the story as quickly as possible, basically, and get the gist of it, and then spend a bit of time.
You just no.
They are brilliant games, though.
You should take your time with it, man.
2 though, I don't know. I thought that was a common thing. I preferred number 1, but yeah.
Really?
I preferred number 1 to 2. I thought that was the standard, but
I think 1. No, everyone loves 2, man. Everyone thinks 2's the best. It's weird. You think about video games sequels. A lot of people say, the second game's always better, whereas in films, the second film's always shitter. It's really fucking weird that in video games the sequels are always better. I mean, yeah, but if you look at things like Mass Effect, generally the second is supposed to be better. You look at Uncharted, everyone says the second one was where it really became as it was, but it's weird. No, I was also I'm a big Mass Effect fan. Hang on, let's see if I can find this. Carry on.
21's better than FIFA 20.
Who's 20? What?
FIFA 21's better than FIFA 20. Everyone knows.
Right, there we are. So yeah, I've got if you can See there, the Mass Effect trilogy. It is the American copy, but it's in a nice little fold-out box and stuff. But yeah, so like I love the games myself, and even though I got it on PS3, Gaz, first time I played Mass Effect was on Xbox, because you could only get Mass Effect 1 on Xbox. You could only get Mass Effect 1 on Xbox, so I wanted to play. I think
you've touched an Xbox.
I know, it's shocking.
Did you wash your hands?
Yes, for 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
But no, it's I think it was after 2 came out. Everyone was talking about Mass Effect because I worked in Game Station then. It's like Game, but better, or was better. So obviously working in
Clearly not, because it's dead.
Oh, fuck you. I lost my job twice to the same company.
Well, one of them's still making money.
So in Cardiff, they had 2 game stores. They only closed the one, and the one they closed was the one that I worked in. And I only worked at that one because the Game Station store I worked in about a year and a half before closed. It's like, no.
I'm sure that says nothing about you, Sam. Take it to heart.
To be fair, I worked there like 1 day a week. I really didn't earn that much. I was a student, but with the discount and the money I earned from there, it basically paid for my games, which as a student was fucking brilliant. But no, yeah, I played Mass Effect trilogy originally on the Xbox because you could only get Mass Effect 1 on the Xbox. It took until after the 3rd one came out, I think. It reminds me as well, and I had this reminder on Facebook the other day, that when Mass Effect 3 first came out in the UK, you couldn't get it on release. Do you remember that? No. EA had a problem with, I think it was Game, the company, and they refused to send stocks of new games, not just Mass Effect. Any EA game that was new wasn't getting sent to the UK stores.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I can't remember the reason why, but it was like delayed by a week or 2 to get a physical copy. Yeah, EA had some issue with Game, and I can't remember the reason why, but we got people coming to store being like, "Can I get Mass Effect?" And we're like, "No."
I suspect I probably got it off Amazon at the time. I think in Portugal. I think I got it off Amazon.
I might have bought it because I think it was only for Game, the company Game, that it was a problem. I think other places and online, so I think I might have picked mine up online and was just like, I can't be arsed with the discount. I want this game now. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like forgetting that trilogy and going back and play it, that would be a great one. They're a great storyline game.
Yeah.
It's like the choices and stuff you can have of like how's your shepherd, who you get a bone. It's like having all that for the first time would be like interesting. Who's shepherd gonna dip his wick in this time or not, because he might be who's gonna dip their wick into shepherd or even not, because you can have like male, female, gay, straight.
There was of course the infamous lesbian shower scene which you could instigate.
The infamous hardcore sex scenes as well, of which there wasn't. There was like no nudity except maybe a buttock. It's like, and everyone was kicking. America was kicking off. This game has sex in it.
This game has implied sex in it. It was implied that somebody might have had sex at some point.
I just realised as well, because I'm looking at the Skype screen, but on the actual recording, I'm flipped over, so the angle I keep on looking at is actually me looking out of the screen on the OBS recording. So people watching it back, I'm going to be gesturing completely to the wrong direction. So I'm just going to move myself around a bit. There we are. Right. Anyway, but that's a good shout on the Mass Effect trilogy. Ree, what was your idea of like what would you like to forget? Everything, I'm guessing, but you know.
Okay, so. I agree with Final Fantasy VII. Although, we've talked about this before.
You only played it last year, mate. You only played it last year.
I played it as a child as well, but I didn't fucking know what was going on. But I think we've talked about this before, though, that that game's a nostalgia thing. It doesn't really. I think if you play it now, you don't really get. You don't fall in love with it all the same. But
I mean, I
Mass
love
Effect,
it still, but nostalgia, yeah.
Yeah, Mass Effect, I honestly haven't thought about that game in a long time, but that's a brilliant game. My choice would be Grand Theft Auto, not because I'm a massive fan of those games. I just think when I played it as a child, my parents were good parents. Don't worry. When I played it as a child, I was like, "Wow, this is so cool! Like, this is amazing." But I think
Which one?
if I played, my first Grand Theft Auto was PS1, so just one Grand Theft Auto 1.
Oh wow, yeah,
Although
yeah.
that was
That was just like top, wasn't it? Top down.
top down,
Yeah.
yeah, top down, and then
Playing that, man.
obviously Grand Theft Auto 2. Was that set in London? I think it was.
No, London was an
That's-
add-on for 1, and then 2 was
That was
set
top down
in,
too
I
as
think,
well,
like
wasn't it?
city area.
Yeah, that was
Three
top
was
down.
the
2 was top down as well.
But then Grand Theft Auto 3 was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
That was where they like, it was mental. But like, no, the only reason I choose that game now is because as a kid, like I said, I thought it was so cool. But I reckon if I played it now, as like an adult, I'd be like, this is fucked. This is absolute.
So unlike like say me and Gaz, who are like, we want to forget these games to get that magic moment again.
Yeah,
You're like,
Yeah.
you want to forget it just to
It's
see
intriguing.
what you would think about it now.
well,
In a way,
I'd be like, this is
that's clever.
like
I
messed
like
up.
that idea. that's
because,
a really good idea.
I think Grand Theft Auto is like ingrained into like everyone's played it and everyone
Pop
like
culture, innit? It's
for
pop culture.
some reason loves it. But like, yeah, pop culture, yeah, for sure. And like, but it's messed up, isn't it? It's so messed up. But
It is. It was like it's one of the first kind of games to do that kind, like let you do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
I
if
think
you
it's
think about
three.
it, it's
I think
become
three
normal
as well.
now. Look at what you can do in games, and that. But yeah, if you go back to it, Grand Theft Auto was fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think 3 was right when everybody was kicking off about the influence that computer games could have, and that like American.
school
They
shootings.
were blaming computer games for mass shootings and stuff like that, and
I
Grand
can't
Theft
remember
Auto
the
was.
name of the guy, but you know the lawyer who was the guy, that lawyer person who was really against the games, the kind of guy who was talking about all this. I can't remember his name, but do you know he ended up getting arrested for gun trafficking?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the guy who was going against video games for being like a bad violent influence and stuff like that,
Yeah.
for violence, was done for fucking illegal gun trafficking. How fucking
Amazing.
fuck, man.
Faces.
It's just fucking stupid. He basically was trying to do this holier than thou thing because obviously in real life he was just a bit of a C word.
So,
Crap.
A bit of a crap, yeah. He was a bit of
Yeah,
a crap.
crap.
Crabulon. No singing,
damn it.
Gaz. No
God damn
singing.
those.
We'll get
God damn
copyright
those
strikes.
crabs. Just
bloody
shitty
nincompoop.
Sideways crab.
um, yeah, Grand Theft Auto, I think.
Crap call.
Um,
No, GTA.
what would your game be?
Mine. Well, I would have mentioned Final Fantasy VII, but obviously every other fucker in this chat has been saying about it. But
Yeah.
I mean, it comes down to, I think, there's a lot of games I could say, and I said to Gaz before the stream, I'm not really going to talk about them because we talk about these games all the time. That's why I wasn't going to talk about Final Fantasy VII, and I think that's why Gaz purposely said Final Fantasy VII. But I think my two games, one of them we have also talked about a lot, and that's The Last of Us. To go back and play that, not knowing anything about that game, especially like you've played it, especially like the first hour of that game.
But no spoilers.
I'm not. Yeah, the game's old, but we're not going to spoil it. But that first hour of that game, to forget that opening of that game and go back and play it, not knowing that, would be like,
Right again.
wow.
PlayStation
I mean, I'll
exclusive.
fucking cry again, but that game's made me cry a lot of times. But I think the other one as well was like maybe Breath of the Wild. The Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, after playing other Zelda games and then playing that, it was just like mind blown. Like, what the fuck's going on? So like those two games, I think, one of them's heavy story, the other's just a kind of open world. So forgetting them and just like playing them again would just be like, yeah, blow my mind in two different ways, but all over again. That would be blow my mind and blow my load.
Oh god, that's a yeah.
Reese just going to pretend
that's
he's
a
not
vision.
heard anything there.
That's a vision
But no,
that I didn't want.
see, Gaz, if you actually had a PlayStation, you would be able to play things like Final Fantasy VII Remake and The Last of Us, but you don't because you suck.
Well.
I mean, you're not got anywhere to go, so you may as well pick up a PS4 now, get a few games.
I would, but I don't think anybody's delivering anything like that anymore. I don't think I
No,
can
you can
actually buy
get
it.
stuff delivered. There's a lot of places. I think, yeah.
Maybe see it.
No, I mean everywhere's got online store and places are still delivering. I got like a chair and a desk
Vegetable
delivered
business.
like about 3 days ago. So
Oh.
like yeah, a lot of places are delivering stuff like that. To be fair, Very.com, they're like we're still delivering like next day delivery. I think because Games had to close all their stores, they're still doing next day delivery on their website and stuff. It's yeah, you can still get a lot of stuff. To be fair,
Game,
so you don't
fuck
have to
game.
leave. Never have to leave our
Yeah,
houses
nice.
ever again. But no, going back to like my choices, I'm guessing neither of you have played Breath of the Wild, but you probably know about it at least.
Yeah, I haven't played.
Gaz is like, what is that? Is that a PlayStation game that I don't know of?
Is that an Xbox exclusive?
No, it's not even on PlayStation, mate. There's another console
No.
called a Nintendo Switch. You might have heard of it.
They got the Switch.
Is it a VR
The
thing?
Switch.
Yeah.
They do have VR, yes. The Nintendo. Don't you love that the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4 both have VR, but Xbox doesn't?
Yeah.
I guess it does, but
It kind of does. It doesn't have like proper solid
Uh,
VR games like the
camera.
PlayStation does. But you
handheld
can
camera.
use VR on
Yeah,
the
you
Switch.
can,
You can
yeah.
use VR.
That's pretty
It's
cool.
weird.
I guess the DS had VR too.
Yeah,
Or
Nintendo
the
did
3DS.
VR way before everyone else. They had the Virtual Boy, which Nintendo liked to forget never happened. Now that's something that they wish they.
Yeah, that's a flop.
But no, like Breath of the Wild, like it's open world. It was nothing like any other Zelda before. It was just apart from the starting area, which was a basic tutorial. After you done that, you could. The world was opened. It didn't even give you waypoints to like do missions. You had to kind of figure out your own way to get to places. It was like really. It was like a mixture of kind of almost Dark Souls with a Zelda game. It was like the original Zelda game where it just dropped you in the world and was like, there you go, figure it out. And you're like, well, and what?
Just crack on.
I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
basically.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure
it was like
if I've got the
you
patience
could
for that. I
go
like a bit of
back
hand
and-
holding.
I mean, yeah, the first hour or two of the games does hold your hands. It's basically this is how the game works, and then you do that, and then it's like, here's your glider, fuck off, figure it out. It's dangerous to go alone. Here's a sword, here's a glider, fuck off. But no, like to experience that whole thing again would just be like amazing. And I know there's a second one coming out, but it's not. It's like it's a sequel. It's probably not going to have that initial wow. Just moments at all. So yeah, that one and The Last of Us for me, both kind of crazy.
Solid. That's
Solid.
some games for me to play if I ever get a PlayStation.
If you ever
Who
get
knows?
anything other than Xbox.
Who knows?
Fucking Xboxes. You gonna get the new Xbox One X S360 Series S1?
Yeah,
that comes out.
Yeah, the Series 3 of Xbox. Yeah, I'm gonna get that one.
Is it? Wait, it is.
I don't know what they do. I can't even troll you.
It is.
I mean, I don't know what they do with the name.
It
the
is.
name
I
is.
genuinely thought I thought that was like a genuine answer then.
Nobody knows it might be.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
the third Xbox, isn't it? There's the Xbox. No, it's the fourth. Is it? How many
I think
Xboxes
Hang on,
have
is
there
it?
been?
I don't know. I think the marketing team got got given way too much leeway with that one.
Yeah, that
Fucking
proves
market.
to show how bad their naming
Listen,
convention is that I
360
can't remember how many generations of Xbox there's been. I think it might be 4.
Was 360
Xbox.
second?
Yeah,
Xbox,
360 was second.
Xbox 360, Xbox One, and then the Series X will be the fourth true one.
Just the naming, so it's
That's
Xbox, Xbox
There's a One X.
360, Xbox One,
Wasn't there one
Xbox Series One. I can't remember what it's called. It's stupid, man.
Wasn't there one between 360 and 1? I'm sure.
What?
No.
Wasn't there an Xbox 360?
No. Xbox 360 and then the Xbox One, obviously, because
Okay,
one follows
there's
360.
3 different Xbox Ones. There's Xbox One, Xbox One X, and Xbox One S.
Yeah.
What did PlayStation...
And the Xbox and the One S Digital Edition, which has got no drive in it.
And what did
It's just digital.
PlayStation do with their different PlayStation 4s? PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Slim, PlayStation 4 Pro. Easy. Man, Microsoft need to sort it out. What are they
Can't fault
doing?
it.
Is that what they've done with the new Xbox then? Is basically like a Pro model and a Slim model or something, or like a light
What,
version.
the new one that's
Well,
coming
now.
out?
Yeah, but isn't there like 3 versions of it or
I
something?
think so, because they're calling it the series,
well,
aren't they?
Yeah. At the minute they've only announced one, which is very likely to be their Pro model, if you like, the high end model. But it's widely speculated and probably quite true that they're going to do at least 2 versions of it. So the expensive one and then a cheaper version of it, probably like digital only something as well. But
Is the digital only version cheaper?
You presume it would be. The Xbox One digital version is about 50 quid cheaper, something like that. 50 quid cheaper.
But then digital copies of games are usually more expensive, so...
It is on, like, compared to Steam, like, Steam digital games can be really cheap, but that's, any people can put their game on Steam. Whereas, like, Xbox, it has to go through Xbox. They run stores, so... Same as PlayStation, they're always... You'll have sales, but they're never cheaper.
PlayStation Online is about 60, 70 quid for a game, just to get it straight to your console.
That's why I'm never huge on just digital. I like having my physical games, and you can generally get them a lot cheaper than digital, especially on consoles.
Well, I hate getting up off my sofa to go to go and grab the disc and put it in the damn drive. I hate that.
That's why you play one game at a time, Gaz.
And just leave the
One
disc
game at a time.
It's done.
Remember memory cards? Memory cards.
I'm going to play this game. Oh no, it's the wrong memory card. Where's the other memory card?
Microsoft are bringing it back. They're bringing the memory card back because so they've got a.
Oh yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, so they've got a super fast SSD like in the console itself to cut down loading time, so they can do like tons of fancy stuff. But because of it, obviously programmers will be programming for a super fast hard drive basically, so they can grab data off it much quicker. So yeah, if you run out of space on the internal drive, you need a way to do it. So Microsoft have decided to release, look at them, their own proprietary expansion drive that goes in the back.
That's crazy.
They're bringing it back like it's 1994.
Yeah, and then you get a corrupt memory.
Did they?
Card and then,
oh, they did have memory cards in 94. PlayStation 1 was about 94, wasn't it?
Had memory cards. Sony have done a whole bunch of their own like proprietary memory cards and stuff like that, like ProStick, the Duo, and.
Well, I remember you used to get. I think it's like Magic Gate used to make their cheap, unofficial memory cards, but then didn't Sony buy Magic Gate? And like they used to make the cheap ones for PS1.
Yeah.
And then for PS2, it was like Magic Gate, but it was officially Sony licensed. It was weird. You find that a lot these days. You get the cheap, like third-party stuff that's unofficial, but you will get a lot of official licensed stuff that is still third-party these days. Like my second Switch thingy for my second set of controllers is Nintendo licensed, but not officially Nintendo. Same as my Joy-Con charger, Nintendo branded, not Nintendo made. It's odd, but you never used to get that back in the day. It's maybe companies were like, we need to do a cheaper option. Let's just buy these third-party companies and just slap our logo on it.
Exactly, they want the profits.
Yeah, they
don't want to.
They're like, people are going to buy cheap versions, so why don't we just slap our name and get some money out of it?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Why not?
But yeah, I mean, if the next gen ever happens, as for we know, it could be might not be Christmas time this year that we get the new consoles.
Fuck yeah.
Might not be. Which is annoying because I've kind of pre-signed up for the new console by paying for the Ultimate Pass, like 25 quid a month, and I'm paying off the Xbox One X, which I've got.
I was going to say, didn't you already have
with an
an
upgrade?
Xbox?
Yeah, with an upgrade path the Series X or whatever they call it, the new one.
Even an Xbox fan has no idea what's going on.
Have you done that thinking like it's going to be released on schedule then, or would you not be bothered if it does get pushed back?
I don't know. I don't think I'll be too fussed. I think the worst would be if they release it in limited numbers, so that a few people have got them, and then it becomes hard to get a hold of.
That'll be messed up.
Yeah,
You'd think they wouldn't.
I think it might happen though, genuinely, with both the PlayStation and the Xbox.
Yeah, pre-orders first, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, who knows? We'd have no idea where this world's going to go. Anyways, I think we should. That's probably a good length for our podcast today, gents. It's pretty good. I think maybe going forward we should actually think about doing this more often, so we can get Gaz involved, because obviously getting you in any other videos is going to be very difficult to do.
Yeah. I can talk about.
It would.
I mean, yeah. To be fair, it is good having you. I mean, yeah. Me and Rhea are both PlayStation guys, but as a gaming channel, we shouldn't really be we shouldn't be PlayStation exclusive. We should cover more. I mean, we do a bit of Nintendo every so often, but
I have nothing against Xbox.
Except you just don't like.
I might bring some. Might bring some VR news to the party as well next time.
What's it?
Would be a VR guy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
VR stuff.
Not the Xbox guy.
Obviously, as you'll probably be getting a stream out again soon, I'll be doing a Let's Play.
Yeah.
Ree is going to do nothing.
Well,
He's gonna finish Skyrim.
I mean, in terms of content for the channel. But
I wouldn't mind dropping dead before I finish it, to be honest. But
you'd rather get COVID than finishing Skyrim.
Yeah.
I think I would. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but yeah.
No. Knock your head.
Maybe I should just stop playing it. That'll be okay.
Maybe that might be a
You'll never forgive yourself.
Maybe. I mean, to be fair, if you want, you can always live stream straight from your PlayStation. So you can always do a stream. But no. Anyway, I will mention there is something I want to talk to you guys off camera about in terms of maybe some content. So we'll do that afterwards. And if we can do it, then that might come on the channel. No point in mentioning it here now because we don't know if we're going to be able to do it. We'll find out. But thank you, viewers and watchers, and
Thanks.
And one day maybe listeners. Remember,
click the subscribe down there somewhere in the doodly doo. And press the bell.
Tell your pets about us. Shout out your windows to your neighbours. Obviously, you're not going to see anyone, so just go open your window and shout, "If you're bored, watch Rejected Gamers on YouTube." Something like that.
Living now.
Send smoke signals. Morse code us to your friends. Whatever it is people are using to contact these days. What would people do for... Most importantly?
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Wash your hands.
Yes.
Wash your hands.
Remember, if you can't wash your hands, put condoms on your hands so you can practice safe hand stuff. No, don't do that. Wash your hands. Wash your hands.
Safety is
all right then. Thanks for all watching. I've been Sam. Goodbye from me.
My name
Gaz the VR guy. Goodbye.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
We are Rejected Gamers. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe below and ring that notification bell. Ta-ta!